everyone! Today I'm going to be doing something that I have wanted to do for a very long time, but I kept putting it off because I knew there were a bunch of other people who did this sort of concept. But then I thought, you know what? Whatever, I'm gonna do it anyway because it just seems like so much fun and I love watching those videos. I'm talking about those wish list videos, talking about new releases, the would I buy it. I am specifically talking about videos I've seen from some of my favorite YouTubers like Samantha March, Mae Beauty, Angelica Nyqvist. I will have their channels linked down below. I'm sure you have already heard about all three of them and you already watch all three of them, but just in case, please go and check them out. They're amazing. And I believe it was Samantha who started this concept, and then I saw Lauren do it and Angelica do it, and it just excites me because I love talking about new makeup. I mean, I just love talking about makeup in general, but I thought that this would be something fun to do. So for my very first one, to see how this goes, I am solely going to be using Trendmood as my resource. Again, another thing you're probably well aware of, an Instagram page all about new makeup releases and makeup info, and I just love checking Trendmood to see what's coming up. It's kind of a little bit like TMZ for makeup. I'm a big fan. So I will of course have Trendmood's Instagram linked down below, and I will probably end up using some images from there as well. I'll make sure everything is credited, of course. So if you see me looking down, it's because I have my phone here. I think I've shown this phone case before. I need to like DIY it a little bit. It says give me glitter or give me death, but the glitter is starting to wear off because I just carried it around with me so much. But anyway, if you see me looking down, I'm looking at my phone. So the first thing that I see here that has just recently been posted is a new mini palette from Natasha Denona. This is a mini Lila palette. This is going to be available July 24th. It's a Sephora exclusive, and I would assume it's probably going to be the same price as the mini Sunset palette, which was really pretty. I just didn't get it because I already had so many similar colors. I wanted the Lila palette. I saw my friend Stephanie, the Daisy Girly, wearing this palette all the time, fell completely in love with it by that price tag. I really like Natasha Denona shadows, but this is a nice little mini palette. It's very, very tiny. 5 shadows. The Sunset one was, I believe, $25 US, $30 Canadian. This will probably be the same. This is definitely going on my wish list. There are 5 shadows. Now it's the 3 purples that I'm gravitating towards the most. The other 2 I will definitely use. They seem kind of generic though. It looks like a basic crease shade, a little bit of a beige shade. It's hard to say with some of these pictures. I find promo pictures to be very, very inaccurate. It's hard to get a good representation of what the shadows look like, but I was on Natasha Denona's Instagram stories earlier, so it looks like a matte beigey shade, a shimmery pale gold, a matte purple, 2 matte purples. Now it's hard to tell from the picture because one of the purples looks almost red, and then in another picture they look very different again. It looks like a royal, like prince kind of purple, and almost like an aubergine, like an eggplant kind of purple, and then a sparkly metallic purple. And I've been really into metallic purples recently, and reason why I'm excited for another palette I'll mention in a minute. But I do think it would complement that other palette, the Anastasia Norvina palette, very well. So this one is definitely going on my wish list. I see some new lip products from Huda Beauty, the Demi Matte Lip Creams. I kind of would instantly discount these. I'm not a big lip cream person. I feel like they just kind of transfer all over the place. Some of these shades look really pretty, but it's nothing that excites me. I kind of just like scrolled right through. It's funny how some things really catch my eye and some things don't, and more often than not it's eyeshadow and highlighters that catch my attention and not lip products. Now I see some new liquid lipsticks. They're called Liquid Linens from BH Cosmetics. Now these look pretty. I am specifically drawn to some of the lighter shades There looks to be some that have a little bit more of a cooler undertone to them, which is something that I'm really lacking with what I have, and I need to replace a lot of what I have because it's old. That's one thing that I've really become conscious of while trying really hard not to buy unnecessary things. I've just realized how old some of my lip products are, and they don't perform very well. These ones look really nice. Now, I've never tried anything from BH Cosmetics. It's definitely something that's on my list to try. I am just a person who really likes trying things, and I get really curious about brands that I've never tried before, and I've heard kind of mixed things about it, but I have heard some very good things as well, and I feel like the general consensus is that BH Cosmetics has really upped their game, so I'm definitely curious. If I was to place an order, I probably would buy at least one of these just to try them out. The next product is from Too Faced. This is a sneak peek from an upcoming collection, the Tutti Frutti collection. Now, I'm drawn to this for a few different reasons. First off, this is such a beautiful color scheme. It actually reminds me of my dream palette that I made a couple months back, the wine collection one. This has a raspberry packaging. Raspberries are my favorite fruit. I have a really weird relationship with raspberries. Such an odd thing, maybe something I'll talk about later, but I really just love raspberries and I love this color scheme. But I don't know if this is an eyeshadow palette or a lip palette. Just looking at it, I would guess it's an eyeshadow palette, but some of the finishes just from the picture look a little bit shiny, which make me think that maybe it's a lip palette, which would be really disappointing. I'm hoping it's an eyeshadow palette because I would 100% buy this. I'm gonna have so many purple and pink eyeshadows over the next couple of months because I feel like that's finally where we're headed, but I'm okay with that. I've been really into the purples and the pinks, and I really want to have a wide variety of those things. I have a couple of singles, nothing that really performs that well, and some of the older purples I have, I really need to declutter. So I do feel like if this is an eyeshadow palette, will be firmly on my wish list. An interesting thing to note about this collection though is that it's an Ulta exclusive. Now, Ulta finally ships to Canada, but before I used to hate that, and I still almost immediately think Ulta exclusive means like no to Canada, even though it's changed. I really don't like when brands exclude consumers from other places. I feel like stuff shouldn't really be exclusive to the retailers that sell them, because people want to buy stuff and they don't necessarily want to buy them off of one particular website or another. Now, Ulta has a really good shipping process for Canadians, so it's not a big deal. It's much better than ordering directly from the Too Faced website. But just in the past, not having it available for something like Sephora kind of sucks. And something like Ulta, it would take weeks and weeks to get it to Canada as opposed to Sephora, which has a Canadian warehouse, which is a couple of days. So it does make a difference. It's something that I think about when brands do stuff like that, that just irritates me a little bit to have these exclusive lines between retailers. I'm just not a fan of that. I saw these eyeshadow palettes pop up recently, and I've never heard of Ace Beauty before. Where did they come from? Like, I just all of a sudden one day it was like, here's 4 eyeshadow palettes, and everyone's losing their freaking minds over them. Now, they do look really beautiful, but I've just never heard of this brand before. I don't know what I'm missing. I want to do more research, but this is not the time to do it. If you guys have any information on the top of your head about Ace Beauty, let me know. But it looks really good. I see that each eyeshadow palette is $31.99, which is pretty reasonable. You can get a bundle for $105 or the PR box for $115, and I'm not sure what the difference is. Like, you spend $10 extra for the PR box to make it seem like you got PR from them. I don't know. $105 seems pretty expensive, but that's just a lot of eyeshadows. Each palette has what, 12 shadows, so you're looking at 48 shadows altogether. That's pretty impressive. Plus packaging. The packaging looks pretty sleek. There's a mirror. It all looks good. I'm kind of iffy on the brand because I just don't know anything about the brand. I see stuff like this that looks almost too good to be true, and I'm worried it's one of those sort of like hush beauty knockoff kind of brands, which I just am not keen on supporting. But this doesn't really look like knockoffs of anything. Slice of Paradise, such a beautiful, colorful palette. Blossom Passion. pinks and reds, and it's like such a romantic color scheme. The classical Paradise one, that's like, to me, it's pretty. It's definitely something that I think I gravitate towards the most just because I love those colors, but then I realized, wait, I already have so many of the exact same shades. And then Paradise Fallen, which is a cooler tone palette with, again, more purples. You have a lot of cooler tones in there, and it looks so appealing to me. So this is something that I'm a little bit on the fence about. I think I will wait and watch some reviews first. I believe Angelica said she's going to do some, so I will wait and watch her tutorials and see what she thinks overall on all of these palettes and make my decision from there. It does look like a really, really good collection of eyeshadow, and you really have something for everybody. You have something that everybody has kind of been talking about recently. People want more color, people want pinks, people want cooler tones, people love those warm oranges and reds and yellows, so it seems like it hits all the right notes. Again, it almost seems too good to be true. I'm like, this makes me a little bit suspicious, so I can't really say I would 100% buy any one of those. I am going to reserve judgment until I hear from other people first, and then it's a solid maybe. I have to be realistic with the amount of eyeshadow I have. Yeah, I just really want to know what the quality is like because it's hard to compare it to stuff. I hope whoever does reviews on it will compare it to other formulas so I can get an idea if it's similar to something that I already like. I have a little bit of a hesitation sometimes with purchasing products like that, especially because I'm guessing this is an American retailer, so shipping to Canada is probably pretty expensive and no returns. The Dose of Colors I Love Sarah E collection. I don't really watch I Love Sarah E. I know of her. I've seen some of her pictures, like she's beautiful. The Dose of Colors aesthetic doesn't really appeal to me. Like I looked at pictures of the Desi and Katie collection. I've looked at some of the stuff in general, like I've tried a couple of liquid lipsticks, but I haven't been super impressed with what I've tried. They just have a different aesthetic than I do, which is pretty obvious based on the people that they collab with. So that's a pretty comfortable pass for me. Okay, I'm just gonna jump now to the Norvina palette and the liquid lipstick, the violet liquid lipstick. I want the violet liquid lipstick and I want the palette. So I've heard a lot of people complain about the Norvina palette since it was released, and I honestly don't get the complaints. When I first saw the palette, I thought this is perfect. This is so beautiful, so cohesive. I love everything from the packaging to the names of the eyeshadow. I just looked at it and I was like, there's nothing that I would really change. I kind of thought about it. I tried to put myself in that perspective that it was like, okay, if I'm redesigning this palette, what would I do differently? And I was looking at everything and I went, you know what? I wouldn't. I think this palette is really representative of Norvina, and on some level I feel like it's kind of a me palette as well. It's something that I could see myself using on a day-to-day basis because it has those beautiful light metallic shades. It's got a gold, it's got the purples, it's got pinks, it's got an orange matte shadow, it's got all the kind of combinations that I've been liking to use on a daily basis, and I could just really see myself using that palette day in and day out. Like if I wasn't panning an Anastasia palette, I could see myself reaching for that one a lot and using it as sort of my daily eyeshadow, because I like to switch stuff up when, you know, I'm filming and I'm doing other things and playing with makeup, but on a day-to-day basis, that color scheme is exactly what I love. So I'm very, very excited for that palette. And I know that the palette is going to be released in July. However, I really am not that tempted to get it until August, but I will be purchasing it in August. I'm out of everything I'm talking about here, basically the Norvina palette and there's a highlighter from Natasha Denona. Those two are pretty much guaranteed purchases for me once my no-buy is over, and then I will really have to kind of carefully evaluate the rest to figure out what I actually want slash need, which I don't think I really need anything. It's more about want and what fits in with my collection, and I kind of have to revamp things. I really am in desperate need of decluttering some of my old stuff. But anyway, there are some Milani eyeshadow palettes, which I thought were Stila eyeshadow palettes when I first looked at them. I was really surprised. I've never tried Milani in this format before, and I am very curious. I don't know if the stuff is sold in Canada. It says that it's a Walmart exclusive, so I don't know if they will actually have that in Walmarts across Canada or not. I'm very tempted to look just because I want to try them out, because I struggle sometimes finding stuff at the drugstore in terms of eyeshadow that works well for me, and I really like Milani products. I've been using Milani highlighters and Milani blush all the time, and it would be nice to have some options that are more affordable from the drugstore, just because I don't like spending all kinds of money on makeup all the time, and it's also sort of a YouTuber excuse where I just kind of give myself allowance to try stuff for the sake of the videos, but it would be nice to be able to compare it to other things as well and to give recommendations, because that's one of the things that I really enjoy doing, is recommending things to people, and sometimes some of the higher end things are out of people's budget. So I know that was just a really long rambly excuse of me saying that I am potentially going to try those if I can find them here, and depending on the price. One thing I notice sometimes with the Trendmood site is that there isn't always prices available, but these eyeshadow palettes, Pure Passion and Soft and Sultry, which I think I'm kind of leaning towards the more neutral palette if that's available, just because it has a lot of sort of good staple shades that I could try against some of the other things that I already like, as opposed to the other shade, the warmer palette, which I'm kind of over a little bit. As much as I love it, I already have it, and I just don't want to see more of it. I want to see some new things. So we will see. Speaking of the drugstore, the new foundation from NYX that Alyssa Ashley collabed with them on, it Can't Stop, Won't Stop Full Coverage Matte Foundation. I want to try this so badly. I generally really like NYX. I've kind of talked crap about NYX a little bit, but I do like them, and I think that they've really been inclusive with their foundation ranges for a long time. 45 shades is amazing. Now, I'm not complaining, I'm just explaining why I don't use NYX foundation, because they normally don't have a shade for me. Normally with their fair shades, they have two, and they would have a fair neutral and a fair warm, and I always found that both of them were very yellow. So of course a fair warm was going to lean more yellow, but a fair neutral I felt was too yellow for me, and there was not a cooler fair shade. It wouldn't be until you got to light that there would be a cooler toned foundation, which would be too dark for me. So I'm hoping out of these 45 shades, there is a shade that's fair and cool toned, and I will 100% be buying that. I really am trying to support more inclusive brands. Sometimes I'm pretty oblivious to what a brand carries overall, but I'm trying to be more conscious of it, and 45 shades, yes, we need more of that, so I definitely want to support it. Plus, I love Alyssa Ashley, and I want to support her as well, so I just think it's kind of a win all around. The Kylie Cosmetics Summer Collection. So, okay, first off, I will say that I immediately count out Kylie Cosmetics because of how much it costs to get to Canada, so I just feel like that has to be a little bit of a disclaimer. But even if like it was free international shipping and I wouldn't have to pay duties, I'm just not excited by this palette. I feel like it's just kind of generic. Now some of the coral, like there's a coral shade and a couple orange shades that are really pretty, but if I was really desperate for like that one coral shade, I would just find a single shadow. Coral and like those sort of pinky shades have been a little bit more common recently, so I feel like if it's not instantly available, it will be pretty soon, so I'm not in a big rush. It's not like there's anything I can't create with what I already have. That's something I've been trying to remind myself when I look at something like that and be like, oh, I love that one shadow and I need to have it. And I'm like, wait a second, I can make things work with what I already have. So that has helped me a lot in terms of making or not making those spontaneous purchases. Like when I'm doing my makeup and I'm like, oh man, I really wish I had this sort of eyeshadow. And before I'd kind of be like instantly like, let's see if I can find it and buy it, instead of waiting and kind of like mixing what I have and, you know, being like, you know what, this actually works. And sometimes things just look differently on your eye than they do in a pan anyway. The highlighter that I really want from Natasha Denona, the Super Glow highlighter. So I have the Glow highlighter in light that I have almost completely finished. They have a fair shade in the Super Glow and it just looks incredible. It does look like that super glowy highlighter. I love a super glow. Some people are over it. I want to be seen from space. Still, I can't get over it. I can't get over all the glitter and the shine, and these don't even look glittery. They just look super shimmery. I'm so excited to get my hands on this. This is the one thing that I would, like, if I wasn't on a no buy this month, I would have bought that for sure the minute I saw it was being released, but I just waited. It's not going to go anywhere right now. I can buy it once my no buy's over, because I don't really need a new highlighter, and hopefully by that time I'll have more of the regular glow highlighter finished anyway, and then I can try the super glow and see if I like the super glow more than the regular glow, and then I can hold off on repurchasing the glow. So I do have sort of a game plan here for that. Alright, so I know I talked about a lot of stuff that I do like in this video, and anything that I would potentially purchase is not a guaranteed purchase. I just want to say that. This is really just speaking hypothetically, and possibly, like, you know, if the stars align, this is the stuff that I would like to have. There's definitely some things I just skipped over, which are things that I would not purchase, and things that I just really had almost nothing to say. There's some products that I just have absolutely no interest in and don't even want to talk about, like certain brands. They absolutely don't interest me at all. But if you would like to hear me talk about some of those things in the future, please let me know. If you would like to see this done in a different format, in a different way, please let me know as well. So basically, just let me know if you liked this general concept, and if you do like it, do you want it to stay the same, or would you want it to change? Because I'm open to feedback, and I'm not set in my ways here at all. So there's a lot of room to play around with this general concept if people like it. So anyway, let me know what you think about any of these products as well. Are any of these things tempting you? Do you think you might purchase any of these things, or would you not purchase any of them? Talk me out of them if you can. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it, and I hope we get a chance to chat soon. Bye for now.